Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler again. Um, I really had to make this video because there's so much I need to say about this, and this is regarding the recent interview that CEO of Take-Two Interactive, which also it's in a the same umbrella with Rockstar company. Even though Rockstar it's its own independent developer, but they are under this umbrella of Take-Two Interactive. So uh, he's the CEO, Strauss Zelnick. And on a recent interview, he was asked about the physical media, why the physical media, it's not included on a Grand Theft Auto 6. Usually, we have physical media with the Grand Theft Auto games. So he was being asked about that, and he was giving his answer to that question regarding the physical media. So I'm going to read on what he said, and then I'm going to give you my comments on it, okay? So I'm going to highlight this so that way, you know, you guys know what I'm reading, okay? So I'm going to highlight this uh, right there. All right, this is where he says, rising cost of hardware, it's not a good thing. He doesn't see it as a headwind given the wider growth of the hardware install base. And this is what he said regarding the hardware cost, and it's true, he's not like wrong about that, he's actually right about that. I mean, I just recently paid $956, close to $1,000 to a PS5 Pro. Xbox Series X, it's nearly the same price, $800 plus tax, nearly $900. So he's not wrong about that. Building a PC, buying GPUs, all of that cost a lot of money, and he's not wrong about that. He's absolutely right. So let's continue. The world continues, this is what he says, quote, the world continues to move to open systems, and that will continue. He said, quote, 20 years ago, on a console release that was available on a PC launch, PC would represent 1 to 2% of overall sales. Today, that can be 40% or 50% in a similar situation. And I believe that's going to grow. He bullish on the potential of streaming too, seeing current technological trends leading to near future in which machines that weren't game machines before will become game machines, meaning that despite console pricing concerns, we see the install base as a practical matter growing material. He expects low latency streaming to arrive within 3 years and potentially 10 times the install base. And who predicted this? Again, I hate to be always right, but who told you by 2030 the cloud streaming will become a standard? Who told you this? Who told you this? Who has been preaching this? Again, I'm not a Nostradamus. I don't have a gypsy girlfriend squeezing the goat's testicles. I'm not a time traveler, okay? I'm not Nostradamus. I use logical, common sense thinking, and I do a lot of research. And based on the research that I do, I look at the plausible trajectory predictions. You see, you guys have fantasy predictions or status quo fantasy predictions, thinking that things will stay status quo forever. I have a plausible, logical predictions. That's how I can determine where things are going to go. That doesn't mean I'm always 100% right. Sometimes I'm wrong. But because I use a lot of research and I do a plausible predictions, this is why I'm, spot on when it comes to predictions. What have I been preaching since 2018, 2019 when Google Stadia arrived? I said by 2030. I've been talking about it on my podcast. I mean, I have videos and live streams to back this up. You guys can go back and check my videos, my old live streams. It's all there. I said it by 2030. streaming, cloud gaming, streaming, cloud gaming will become a standard. We're already seeing that with Netflix. Look what Netflix is doing with this game called Unhinged. It looks like a PlayStation 5 game, right? Amazing graphics. Looks like a Resident Evil, right? Like a Resident Evil game. Um, and it's playable by phone, but low latency, and you can play directly from your TV on a Netflix. Okay, so um, I made this prediction. Don't forget, long time ago. I said by 2030, the consoles will slowly start dying off. Remember, because the cost of building these consoles will not be suitable. They're going to use that money into data centers. They're going to invest into data centers where they can control their games. It'll be just more cost efficient. This is all based on the research, guys. This is not, ooh, I'm some sort of a Nostradamus, right? Or I'm some sort of a, you know, reading your cards, gypsy, crystal ball gypsy dude, like, looking at the crystal ball fortune teller. No, this is based on the research that I have done since 2018, 2019, and I use plausible predictions. I don't live in a fantasy world, wishful thinking. It doesn't do you any good to live in some sort of a wishful thinking fantasy world. I live in reality. I lived in the facts. These are the facts. This is the reality of the facts. And based on the facts and reality that I am looking at, I can determine which way is going to go. That's why I'm not surprised that the physical media will not be available in 2028. That's why I'm not surprised that the cost of these consoles is going so much higher. That's why I'm not surprised that both PlayStation and Microsoft are investing into cloud service, and even Nintendo Switch Online, it's investing into a cloud service. And now you have this Rockstar promotion with Netflix on the Netflix. Is it possible that the GTA 6 might be on the Netflix? And it'll probably play the best on the Netflix because of the data center and the hardware they can build to support the engine that the GTA 6 is using. Possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but in the future, don't be surprised if you see Grand Theft Auto 6 on Netflix gaming. Don't be surprised. Or if you see the entire library of Grand Theft Autos on Netflix, don't be surprised. But anyway, let's continue with what he was saying. Okay. So he continued on to say, pressed on this, Zelnick stressed that this is his opinion rather than the company's. I'm not putting it into our numbers, so I'm not that confident, he says. Well, look, no one is confident. Neither was I confident when I says, by 2030, everything will be, majority will be like cloud streaming, and the consoles will slowly fade away. We might not even see PlayStation 7. PlayStation 6 will be the last of the Mohicans. And I predicted that as well. I said PlayStation 6 will be the last of the Mohicans, and I predicted this back in 2020, dude. Back in 2020, I predicted this. Remember in 2020? But anyway, it's not about me. I don't want to just brag about me. But I like to do, tap myself on the back because I did predict all of this. That's just a fact. Whether you like it or don't, doesn't matter. These are the facts. I have predicted this. And I have receipts and the evidence to prove that I have predicted this. But anyway, that's not important. So let's continue on. He says, I was really just sharing my opinion, and it could be entirely wrong, but there are enough companies working on this who either are already hyperscalers who have hyperscaler ambitions and capital that I believe will likely get there. And he's right about that. Why do you think they're building so many data centers? So many data centers. Why do you think that is? So much investment in the data centers and the cloud. Why do you think that is? Again, this goes back to research. He's privy to all of this. He sees all of this, okay? He's privy to all of this stuff. He sees how many data centers. He goes to all of these annual business meetings, right? And he sees what's going on. He sees where the business is going. He sees where the technology is going. And that's what I'm doing. I do research. I look at the research, why all of these corporations are investing so much money into the data centers. Why do you think that is? Right? So I'm starting to thinking, well, why that is? There has to be a reason they're spending billions of dollars into these data centers. There has to be a reason behind that. And also the investment on both AI, artificial intelligence, and data center. So you put two and two together, and then you're like, oh, I see. And that's what he's basically saying. Yes, he's saying that's my opinion, but at the same time, he's also saying I'm privy to what's going on, to this business technology that you guys are not privy. So he says, unsurprisingly, he won't make any commitment to which titles the company will publish on these platforms or when our strategies to release on whatever devices can properly represent our properties and which have meaningful install base in the form of some time. He says, and that's historically what we've done. So what is he saying here? He's indicating that he's not willing to say which of one of these devices, meaning cloud services, is he willing to put his, titles of Grand Theft Auto, right, and PGA Tour and WWE and NBA 2K, which one of them is he willing to put on these cloud services? But remember, he already has done that. Remember, he already put WWE on the Google Stadia. He already put Red Dead Redemption 2 on Google Stadia. You guys forget this. Do I need to remind you that Rockstar put Red Dead Redemption 2 back in 2019, holiday season, and the game was released in 2018? A year later, the game, a very big game called, you guys forget some of this stuff. Even I forget. But don't forget, back in 2018, when Red Dead Redemption 2 was released in October of 2018, it was a huge masterpiece. It was a huge hit, huge groundbreaking hit. And then the year after, Google Stadia made the announcement of their service. And what was the very first game that we saw on Google Stadia? Red Dead Redemption 2. That's a pretty big deal. So Rockstar has already done this. They have put their big, huge games like Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Google Stadia. You think they're not going to do that on the Netflix with the Grand Theft Auto 6? Of course they will, because they already done this before. But he's indicating, but not saying much, but he's indicating we already have done this before with our games on Google Stadia, like NBA 2K, WWE, and Red Dead Redemption 2. Don't forget, Cyberpunk was released day one release on Google Stadia. Those are the two big giant behemoths, man. People forget Google Stadia, man. People forget. And I need to refresh your memory. So anyway, let's continue. Zelnick is confident that the company won't be making major staff cuts after the game's long delayed release either. We haven't done that in a long time, he says, with regard to all of our hit titles. We have ongoing opportunities for the consumers to engage post-release because we have more content coming, and so those sort of boom and bust cycles for the employees base are long gone. We think we are right size for the opportunity, and if anything, we're in a growth mode. He also feels good about Take-Two remaining public, even as EA and developer withdraw from the public markets. We obviously trade well, but not everyone likes being public. He says, I think it's totally fine. It just means that you have to be in the habit of being honest and transparent, which I am, and it's worked out really well for us. And obviously, being public company gives you the opportunity to use your securities and do acquisitions, for example, as we did last summer, quickly to go to the marketplace to raise incremental capital. All right. So, what's my honest opinion? Actually, this is another important part regarding Netflix. And obviously, I'm sure there's some sort of an NDA agreement that he cannot talk about regarding the Netflix. He said he will not be drawn on the details of the arrangements and if Netflix had paid for the privilege. Saying only that Netflix is a great marketing partner. This says a lot. Him saying that Netflix it's a great marketing partner for us and distribution partner. Think about that. What he just said. You have to read the innuendo. Okay, he's speaking in innuendo because he's a very smart guy. He was also the CEO of the 20th Century Fox back in the days. He gave us great movies like, Die Hard, Predator, Aliens, The Abyss, and, Speed. All of these great movies. Speed with Keanu Reeves, right? So he used to be a 20th Century Fox, very successful CEO of 20th Century Fox, and then he moved into the video games. So he's very successful. This guy is very smart. Strauss Zelnick, Zelnick's a very smart guy. I did some research on him. So read what he says. Netflix is a great marketing partner for us and distribution partner. The firm having previously released GTA games through the Netflix platform, and that the deal is a groundbreaking partnership that Rockstar arranged. Now, don't forget, they have released these mobile Rockstar games on Netflix, like Red Dead Redemption, San Andreas was a GTA San Andreas, GTA 3, GTA Vice City. So, guys, don't be surprised if you see Grand Theft Auto 6 on Netflix. Not this year, but maybe next year. Don't be surprised if you see it come to Netflix. And don't be surprised if you see GTA 5, GTA 4, GTA 3, and all these other GTA games, and Red Dead Redemption 2 and Redemption 1, if they all come up, and NBA 2K, if they all show up, and Borderlands 4, Borderlands 3, if they all show up on the Netflix gaming through cloud. Don't be surprised. But I have a feeling that we might see Grand Theft Auto 6 show up on Netflix gaming. It'll be probably the best version to play because it'll be running from a data center and they will be able to build the most powerful PC there is on that data center. So they'll be able to run GTA 6 at the best possible, 60 frames per second with all the bells and whistles, advanced ray tracing, everything, right? Ultra textures, right? So don't be surprised. But why would people want to play GTA 6 on a Netflix? Well, think about it. Consoles are expensive. They don't have any more physical media come 2028. They are super expensive, close to $1,000. The video games are $79 to $80 to $100, super expensive. Now, if you can pay $30 a month and have access to the Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive catalog of all of these games and all of these GTA games, including Grand Theft Auto 6 and Red Dead Redemption, my friend, that's a pretty huge bonus for people who already have Netflix subscription. People will say, well, you know what? Not only do I have all of these, you know, uh, original movies and TV shows, programs available on Netflix, along with all of these sports events. But now, on top of everything else that the Netflix offers me in terms of content, now I can play video games as well. So, on top of the movies and entertainment and sports and documentaries that the Netflix has, now you will have the video games included as well. Um, so that seems like a pretty good deal for Netflix. People will say, okay, well, $30 a month. You know what? Sounds like a good deal to me. People will say, all right, $30 a month. Not such a. It's not such a bad deal after all. We also heard from Asha Sharma. Don't forget. Again, people forget. I have to remind you, and I'm sorry this video is long, but I have to remind you. Asha Sharma, there's been a leak about what Asha Sharma allegedly said that they're talking to the Netflix executives about possible merger of Xbox Game Pass and Netflix. So what does that mean? The X Cloud might be included on the Netflix for gaming, and you might be able to access these Xbox Game Pass games through Netflix, right? Games like Halo, Campaign Evolved, Gears of War, E-Day, and then you add Rockstar with the Gears of War, with the Grand Theft Auto 6 and Grand Theft Auto, uh, franchise, and Red Dead Redemption, and NBA 2K, 2K6, and 2K7, right? Right? Who knows, dude? Who knows? Uh, then Netflix could become, the ultimate entertainment hub, right? You have everything in one place. It's like, well, this is great, right? Look, guys, the whole point I'm trying to make here is gaming is changing, and you can see that already. No more physical media by 2028. Super expensive consoles, right? Who can afford consoles? Do you think you can afford PlayStation 6? And how much is that going to cost? And this Project Helix, how much is that going to cost? The high rise of cost of these consoles and the high rise cost of living, this is what he's indicating. This is where we're going. We're moving to the cloud because it's going to be easily accessible. Paying at $30 a month and to be able to access these games and watch movies and TV shows and sporting events versus you spending thousands of dollars on a console and the games versus you spending thousands and thousands of dollars building a PC. This is where the market is going. That's what he's basically saying. And I believe him because he's privy to this information. He's privy to this technology and the market and where the market of this business technology of entertainment is going, right? I also have done my own research. I don't talk out of my ass. I actually do research. Everything I talk about, I do research. Now, granted, I have my own opinions, but when I make certain predictions, I make certain predictions based on a uh, plausible predictions, meaning that I've done my research and this is my plausible prediction. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, and it doesn't mean it's 100%, but a plausible prediction it's better than a fantasy prediction. Fantasy prediction is just ridiculous. Like that's a wishful thinking. That's like me saying, "Ooh, I wish I had billions of dollars. I wish I was a playboy." Right? Come on, man. I wish. I wish. Um, so guys, I told you uh, by 2030 or 2031, beginning of 2030 throughout 2030 to 2035, I think you're going to see a major change in gaming. I'm going to make another prediction. Beginning of 2030 all the way throughout 2031, 32, 34, 33, 35, all the way throughout 2035, I think you're going to see a dramatic change in terms of how we play video games. Dramatic shift by 2035. Uh, and it should be. I mean, in 2035, it's future. I mean, we're living in future. You can expect status quo. Now, don't get me wrong. I love this. I love this. I love this, of course, and I miss this. And there's always going to be a way for you to find this, but it's going to be very expensive. You'll have to pay arm and leg just to buy these physical medias because they're going to be very, very expensive. People are going to be selling these for like $1,000 each. It's going to be very expensive. Um, but there's going to be the way for you to get one of these physical medias. However, you have to adapt to the future, okay? And that's what he's basically saying. And that's what I'm saying. You'll have to adapt to the future. Okay. Anyway, I know it's a long video, but there's so much I needed to say here. Keep in mind, these are my opinions and my opinions alone. Okay. And I hope this video was informative. I hope this video helps you out a little bit, have a better understanding on where the future of gaming is going. Okay. Do your research, guys. That's what I do. Do your research. That's the best advice I can give you. Don't listen to other people's opinions. Do your own research. Okay? Research, research, research. Okay? Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.